All right, we're going to continue with Chapter 2, Section 2. We are working more with the Banzhaf Power Index, and right now, today, what we want to do is we want to compute the number of coalitions possible for a given weighted voting system, and that will really depend on the number of players. And then in addition to that, we want to be able to compute the Banzhaf power distribution for a weighted voting system. And the one we do in this lesson is just going to be a little bit more complex. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about what subsets are. So a subset is a set in which all the elements are contained in another set. For example, if we talk about the set of students who are in the second semester discrete math class, we know that those students are a subset of all of the students currently enrolled in Waterford High School. So just think of a subset as a smaller collection. Okay, so let's take a look here, and we want to, the goal here is to determine how many subsets can I get from a set. So we're going to start with this first column, and notice that we have a set that has two elements, and we'll call these elements player 1 and player 2. So we want to talk about the total number of subsets present here. The first subset is always the empty set. So we don't want to forget empty set. The empty set is always a subset of any set that you have. Okay, so don't forget about the empty set. So in addition to the empty set, we take each element here, and each element can be their own subset. In addition to each element being its own subset, we can take the entire set and call the entire set a subset of that initial set. So now we just count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 total subsets. Moving on to the next one, what I want you to recognize here is we have this set that has 3 elements, but these first 2 elements were just the set that we worked with previously. So if it's those 2 elements in the subset, then I know, or those 2 elements in the total set, in the big set here, then I know that these 4 subsets that we previously listed are going to be subsets of this set. In addition to those 4, what we can do is we can take each one of these 4 and we can list them along with now player 3. So we have the empty set listed with player 3, and that will give us player 3. We have the set that was just player 1 by itself, but we can add player 3. We had the set that was just player 2 by itself, and we can add player 3. And we had the set that was player 1 and 2, and we add player 3. So in addition to the 4 original, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more for a total of 8 subsets possible when you have 3 elements in a set. Now we'll go on to having 4 elements in a subset. So we're taking a look at this column. Now notice we have this first 3, which is just the last set that we had, right? And that last set had a total of 8 subsets. So we could put those 8 subsets. And in addition to those 8 subsets, we can add player 4 is the only new addition. So we're going to take each one of these 8 originals, and we're just going to add player 4 to it. So if we have the empty set and we add player 4, we get player 4. If we have the set with just player 1 and add player 4, we can have the set with just player 2 and we can add player 4. The set with just or with players 1 and 2, add player 4. The set with just player 3, we can add player 4. The set with players 1 and 3, we can add player 4. The set with 2 and 3, and we can add player 4. And then finally, the set with players 1, 2, and 3, and we can add player 4. And I'll put this one up here. So we have these 8, plus we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more, for a total now of 16. Now what I want you to do is I want you to look at these numbers down on the bottom. We have 4, we have 8, we have 16. What do you think is going to happen here? Well, notice 4 is just 2 squared. This next one, this 8, is 2 cubed. 16 is 2 to the 4th. So does it make sense then that this one will be 2 to the 5th, or 32? And absolutely, notice that when we have 5 elements, our total subsets are 2 to the 5th. When we had 4 elements, our total subsets were 2 to the 4th. When we had 3 elements, our total subsets were 2 cubed. So if we want to generalize this, how many total subsets can we have? A set with n elements will have 2 to the n subsets. N elements will have 2 to the n subsets.